Hi team, this is just a quick video with all of the resources for the first few lessons like we talked about on Friday. So first, what you'll need to do to find everything, you guys all have access to a folder that's called Innovation for Social Change. I've made sure I shared it with everyone. So in the Innovation for Social Change folder, please go to the folder that says UBDs and Ganache. From there, go to Cycle 1 Daily Materials, and then there's a folder, everything is here. Cycle 1 2020 Distance Learning Start. Ignore everything else because those are the materials from when obviously prior to distance learning. Everything that we'll be using over the next few weeks, months will be in this distance learning. So for right now, for the next couple of weeks, everything is in rotation 1. In rotation 1, you're going to find first the slideshow. So quickly with the slideshow, make sure if you don't already, I know Suniga, you should because we used it a lot last year, but Camilo, we use a tool in this course called Nearpod a lot, so make sure that you go to add-ons, get add-ons, and then add the Nearpod, create your Nearpod account. If you have questions, just email me. What it'll look like is that you can use the slides that I create, but you need to create your own Nearpod link for your students. So what that looks like is once you have Nearpod, you go to Nearpod, open Nearpod, it opens this. Don't change anything or edit the slides unless we've talked about it, because then that'll obviously change it for me too and for everyone else. So these slides are all good to go. You just press save and go to Nearpod, and it'll take you to your Nearpod account. So even though we're using the same slides, because each of us will have our own Nearpod accounts, those are the tools that we share with students. So now that I've created it in my Nearpod account, just like you'll create it in yours, you will take the link from Nearpod, and that's what you're going to share with students. So what that looks like here is that you'll go live participation, and you will give them the link that they need, and you can put it in Schoology, or you can just share it at the beginning of a Zoom. You'll just copy this link and send them that link. So right there where it says link, copy, you can put that link in Schoology, or I normally don't, and I just put it in the chat as kids log into Zoom. But you can also put it, this is what this looks like, but why we use Nearpod is for things like the Collaborate board so that kids can share their thoughts, and we can use like this collaboration board. With embedded videos, it's going to ask you, this slide contains a video, where would you like this to play? Always select all devices, because the reason I say that is that way kids can actually, what I do here with the video is say, okay guys, make sure you're muted so we're not hearing any feedback, and everyone go ahead and press play. We're going to watch a quick video together. Everyone will press play, and they'll watch the video on their screens. And so this is the video that I was telling you guys about that we're going to have kids watch that shows like the distance learning struggle from the student perspective. Okay, so all of that is already embedded. If you have questions, make sure you test that out before you have your first class, so that if I'm not available when you're teaching, I might not be able to be available. If like you're texting me, Alisa, the Nearpod isn't working, I'm not always available because of coaching responsibilities, or I might also be teaching. So just make sure that you test out that you know how to use Nearpod, you know how to give students the code, or actually you don't even need to give them the code. I never use the code now, I just give them directly the link. So again, there it is, link, you share with students the link so that they're following along in the Nearpod. Why do we want them using the Nearpod? Like I said, because of things like the Collaborate board, and having them write their comments and collaborate inside of the actual presentation. So again, we talked about each session. Everything is designed from each session into the slides, what's happening in each breakout room, directions. Remember that after the video, like it's important here on slide 7 to say like the purpose of us showing this video isn't to depress you, but it's, you know, we recognize that this is not ideal, not how anyone wanted to start the school year. We know that this is going to be tough, but we hope that the nature of this course can allow us to like overcome some of the difficulties of this. And so like, what is this course? You give them the course objectives, the expectations for engagement, and then you send them back into breakout rooms to talk about this question. How might the nature of this course allow us to avoid the results from the NUM video we watched? You give them some time in breakout rooms to discuss, and then ask them to respond on the Padlet. So for creating a Padlet, that's what I'm going to show you right now. I created multiple Padlets because that's just me. I don't like my classes responding in the same Padlet. That's really preference. So you can see here, So you can see here that I have a Padlet for my section 2 and a Padlet for section 5 for this lesson plan. Again, like that's just preference. You can make one. I just prefer that my sections have different Padlets. So you're going to create a Padlet account if you don't have one yet. It's super easy. Just go to Padlet.com. It'll walk you through it. Okay, I don't know what just happened. I was recording and then it stopped. So I don't know where I left off, but anyways, I was saying I think I have 2 different Padlets because I like that there's one for each section. You can do it that however you want, if you want them all to respond on the same one or by section. So you just go to make a Padlet. Right now I'm just using Wall. If we ever use any of the other ones, I'll share and talk to you guys, but Wall is just the easiest because it's basically them. It's really similar to a Collaborate board in Nearpod, but it allows them to like have more space. So you're going to click Select, starting your Padlet. You're going to just name it. So I named it ISC Section 2, blah, blah, blah. I didn't put any description, I don't think. Here you can change, play with fonts. I don't really like do anything much with that. I don't have them display their author name because then that means that they have to log in, which is like an extra step. Yeah, and then I create the Padlet. So what they're going to see on their end, and you guys can copy mine, but like I created the first post. So the first post was the question, how might the objectives of this course allow us to avoid the results from the NUM video we watched? They just were in breakout rooms having that quick conversation, and then you just have them go to the Padlet and put their thoughts on the Padlet that they just talked about in breakout rooms. So where did I show that in the video, so there's actually a direction video that they will watch so that you can actually say like, okay guys, so we're going to use Padlet now. The link for the Padlet is going to be in Schoology, but just really quickly watch this video on how to write your response. So this is like a direction you would give them after they come out of breakout rooms, and then tell them that the access to the Padlet is in Schoology. So you'll see there that like set up your Schoology so that there's a folder just for rotation 1, and then they should be able to have access to the Padlet. So you would put the link to the Padlet in your Schoology. Please do that before your first class. So if you have any confusion or questions or concerns, you can ask me. After they fill out the Padlet, you would send them into the breakout room, bring them back, or send them into a brain break, like a little 5-minute brain break, tell them to get a snack, move their legs, stretch their legs, whatever. Bring them all back after 5 minutes, have a couple people share out. Breakout room 3, which is to come up with one non-academic question for your teacher. Then you do the Q&A, you give them the exit survey, and class is done. Okay, so about the exit survey, I've already created them for my class. I think the best bet is to actually, where is that? So you'll see here in rotation 1, I named it Elisa. I've already created my surveys. I realize that the best bet is not to copy mine. It doesn't make sense for you to make a copy of mine because mine already has all my students' names built in. So then you would have to erase all of that and it would be a pain in the butt. What I think the easiest thing to do is just to create your own. So just create a new survey, and you can put it in that same folder if you want, or put it somewhere else, but create a new survey, write all of your students' names once, but then you only have to do it once, because then from there you can just copy each question. So that option to copy question right here, duplicate, and then you just change the question, but the answer options are all the same. So that's what I did, and it took me like 10 minutes. I just wrote all my students' names once and then copied the questions, and then all I had to do was make sure that I copied the question 7 times so that there was 8 of them that had all the students' names as options, and then I just changed question 1, question 2, question 3. So in the end, what it looks like is this: question 1, all the students' names as answer options; question 2, all the students' names as answer options. We want to do it like that so that when we show them the results the next day in class, it's like the pie chart. So that's like where we show them the results in the pie chart, and it's funny. Again, please do this before your first class so that if you have questions, you can ask me before class, because it's really hard for me when I would have teachers be like, wait, Elisa, if I'm not available while you're teaching, I'm not always available. So please make sure that you get all of these resources set up before your first class. And that's pretty much it. Session 2 is in here too. The slides are in there with Nearpod. Go through it, make sure, like, it's all what we talked about on Friday. The objective of session 2 is we're going to dialogue about the purpose of education and the future of the classroom. Before we do that, we'll look at our most likely results, and then we have the lesson plan using the choice board. The choice board is already in the folder, so you can get it there, but it's also in my Schoology, so you can copy it from Schoology. I'm going to make you guys all admins of my Schoology so you can copy everything from there, but it's in the folder as well. Here's the choice board, the lesson plan. We talked about it on Friday. It has them go through the choice board. Remember, they have 25 minutes. Get out a notebook and something to write with. You might like say, hey, there's like good research on this about writing things down. You're also going to be put in breakout rooms to share, so it's important that you take notes. Tell them to read at least 2 articles, at least watch 1 video, to turn off their cameras and mute their mics, that they can get up and take a stretch during this time, but I'll be sharing my screen and showing the timer of 25 minutes. Send them to breakout rooms to talk about what they shared with their class. Then maybe bring them back. Oh yeah, we talked about that. While they're in breakout rooms, we need to be rotating into the breakout rooms and letting them know that that someone's gonna have to share out. So that like, hey guys, how's it going? How's your conversation going? Cool, awesome. Be sure to nominate someone, because when we come out of breakout rooms, everyone's gonna share out one thing that they talked about in their breakout rooms. So then that you have them share out. This is a question I did just to transition into the norms, like maybe ask like, hey, does anyone want to take a shot at what do you think is the difference between rules and policies and norms? And say, yeah, like rules and policies are sort of like guidelines and expectations to follow, where norms are mindsets. So I want to share with you guys today some of the mindsets that we have about this class. You go through the 3 norms, the 4 norms, 4 mindsets, then have them go into breakout rooms to talk about. Oh no, they don't actually go into breakout rooms here. You just have them write on the collaborate board, connect anything. So think about those norms, guys. Think about what we've been thinking about this class, and how might you connect it to anything you read about on the choice board? How does this class, as you're beginning to learn about it, connect to the future of education? What do you think? Put things on the choice board, have them read the letter to students, everything. They read your letter, they write one thing in the chat, and then they're free to go. So yeah, I won't always obviously make these super long videos about our lesson plans, because obviously we will talk about our lesson plans in our team meetings, but since this was the first one, I just thought that this video would be helpful, as well as just like some of the new tools. So if you have questions about creating a Nearpod, if you have questions about Padlet, please reach out to me. Try to set all of that up in your Schoology with links for your students prior to the first class, so that if you have any issues, I can support and help. Of course, like I said, I won't make these super long videos for each lesson plan just because this was our first one. I thought it would be helpful.